Good morning, it's Audrey June, and I'm here to give a reading in regards to what we're releasing collectively. What are some things that are getting in the way energetically, patterns we've ingrained, just messages regarding how we can get to our most authentic me. Alright, so I got number 44, which is Lantern. When I look at this card, I notice immediately just the fact that there's a lot of fire energy, that there's a lot of different types of fire, that she is blindfolded and she has two lanterns, and the way that the lanterns are being held kind of reminds me a little bit of Libra and justice of that nature. And then there's also a door in the distance, and there is literally a lake of fire. And then she's carrying a sphere, and the way the sphere looks is almost like one of those lightning ball type things. So just by looking at it, and the card itself says consciousness is light, so I see like very much almost like an awakening, but also like the burdens of that which we carry, which itself isn't necessarily real. And then of course 4 being the Emperor, double 4 is being like a master ruler type energy. So let's see what the book has to say. The crone has completed the circle of phases and perspectives pertaining to feminine consciousness. Maiden, mother, guardian, and crone. The lanterns hanging from the featured crone's wrist illuminate her world with the clarity of having integrated her spirit self with herself. She successfully released all of the illusory filters that had created limiting effects on her mind and fed the unhelpful aspects of the ego. The white light of love that the crone is can now reach all that is within her periphery. Without judgment or expectation, she is now capable of objectively observing all with compassionate consideration and calm composure. All matters in life are neutral. Many are not conducive to the meaning and significance that we or others impulsively attach to them. When we view predicaments without emotion or the significance it holds for us, how things make sense beyond our personalization of them are illuminated. To separate ourselves from the drama, assumptions, and heightened emotions is to see rather than react according to the underlying dynamics at play. This affords us access to the empowered capacity to choose whether to participate in what is being triggered or projected into the situation. The crone has shown up to remind you that whenever you feel challenged, stop whatever you're doing to ask your spirit self, what am I being invited to learn here? Each obstacle moment of overwhelm and hardship offers necessary and valuable lessons to evolve us beyond being a match to it. Any perceived mistake, wrong turn, or regret plays a part in your pathway to insight and liberation. All that is needed for the light to be turned on so that the obstacle can be recognized as the positive lesson. You are always met with teachings and forms that match whatever you are available to receive them at that moment. Each teaching is necessary for your learning of another better way in your progression. May you shine the light of your love into any lesson that holds a lingering negative charge for you until it transforms into heartfelt gratitude for and recognition of its supporting role in your evolution. Love is the only place from which to observe, be in, and reflect upon light. Proceed in the great neutralizing white light of love. Her message. Awareness expands as we clear the darkness with light. Clarity transforms our perception into lanterns of insight that can illuminate a way for others too. Is there anything else that we should be made aware of during this retrograde cycle, during this shadow work, during this time that we are actively looking into ourselves and choosing what we want to create? All right, so we've got 2. Another crone, which is radical self-love. And then one of the maiden cards, responding, not reacting, which to me very much is talking about the inner child and us integrating these 2 aspects of ourselves. So since 41 came up first, I'm struggling. I'm on some rocks right now. Ah. Oh, ow. Oh, well, hello. There's a yellow jacket here. Huh. That was interesting. All right. There we go. This should work better now. Right when I said radical self-love, I'm face to face with this beautiful yellow jacket. All right, so looking at the card, we see her like kind of just outside of time, outside of Earth, like above in the cosmos, holding a blanket around her, kind of very self-assured looking, not really worried about anything around her. 4 + 1 is 5. Radical change, abrupt changes. So let's see. The world and people around us mirror our relationship with ourselves. All the ways we mistakenly seek and rely on love from others and world is made of the need to be in harmonious breath with the unconditional love that we, in essence, are. The self-love to be accessed within is unlimited and something that none of us needs ever go without or be disconnected from. When we turn away from the unconditional love that we are and have to give and receive, it becomes suppressed energy that burns unhealthily. This is what hurts us and leaves us hungry for what is actually freely available to us. Nonetheless, our loving radiance gets unnaturally buried in the darkness of our inattention. This can only have adverse effects. To deny and subdue the radiant love, generosity, and kindness of who we are resonates with the quote from the Gospel of Thomas. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. Until we embody just how radical and pure our self-love is, we're not entirely open to receive or vibrationally match to such unconditional love from others or the universe. The crone has shown up to assure you that there is nothing you have to do, be, or become in order to be worthy of unconditional loving yourself as you are. Just as there is nothing you have to do, be, or become in order to be worthy of breathing. All that is required is that you allow your breath to continue. It knows how. You don't need anything more. This is the same with the unconditional self-love within you. It knows how to be the living breath of the world. Just as you breathe, you are love. You are love. Spirit self is love. Love is the only thing that's real. Anything less than love is not real. It's never been, can be, or will be. Radical self-love lets all the illusions go by burning its brilliant light right through them. To bring forth what is within you is to breathe as the love that you are. Wherever the energy is and whatever we feel blissfully compelled to do in a state of self-love, we breathe our inner self into the world. This card encourages us to say yes and let go of all your self-judgment, shadows, and untruths so that room can be made for all your loving light to radiate through the rest of your life. The future crone supports you in cultivating the strength required to love yourself for all that you are and all that you are not. To love all that you have done and all that you have not done. to love all that you have struggled with and overcome, as well as all the things that you still struggle with and may never overcome. Love all your emotions. They communicate to you what matters most. Allow all of the love that you are unconditionally into you in your life. Once you experience it, the wholeness within, healthy, loving relationships with others can come into your life. Love that love is the only thing that matters. Love is radical in the extent to which it loves you back. So I also find it really interesting because this deck has a lot of different just pictures of women. But the fact that we have these two in conjunction and that they both have white hair is really interesting to me, because it's almost like the process of us as a more complete, more integrated person going back in time and holding space for our inner child and the you know, that which was unseen. The little girl who sat in the corner, who struggled with her emotions, who really just never learned how to respond, because response isn't actively taught very frequently in this society. And what it says in this card is the only control we have is in how we respond to the hand we are dealt. So it's almost like with this consciousness that we come into from ourselves, from our experience, getting to a place where we can detach ourselves from the earthly, from this material, from what is actively bugging us, to go back and hold that wholeness and love, so that we can go back and look and hold our little selves from before, when things were tumultuous. That's what I'm seeing here. And then 9 is the end of a cycle. And it says, children cannot control their emotions. Developmentally, their capacity is limited to reflective reaction until the energy is physically released, as the maiden to the left illustrates. This is why the mother guardian crone, or male guardian equivalent, is crucial to a child's first 8 years of life. The child is developed dependent upon the guardian to acknowledge, validate, and hold space for the reality of the child's emotional experience. When a guardian lovingly models the child how to constructively respond to the full spectrum of uncomfortable emotions, the child learns how to deal with them effectively. Ideally, the guardian will calmly and appropriately support the child until an uncomfortable emotion abates. It's most helpful when the guardian names the emotion, empathizes with the child, and gives assurance that all is or will be okay. When constructive advice is offered on how to restore equilibrium or achieve some form of reconciliation, the child learns how to process and think in terms of moving forward from that upsetting situation. Emotional support is necessary from a guardian until a child develops the capacity to independently self-regulate. The maiden to the right of the card demonstrates this internalized ability as she soothes her reactive duplicate to the left. She represents the ideally integrated capacity to diffuse the impulse to react and instead respond. You might benefit from responding rather than reacting. While our survival mechanism triggers reactive emotions that provide valuable feedback not to be ignored, to react impulsively has the potential to turn a negative situation into a double negative. Therefore, the maidens encourage you to step away and take time. The maidens assure you that you have what it takes to stay in your power and integrity. Remain in your self-control and therefore your integrity as you assert yourself with respect and consideration to all parties involved. If a person or circumstance cannot or will not meet you halfway, empower yourself by walking away. Let the dead leaves go. Let any uncomfortable emotion be acknowledged and energetically released in a safe space and through your preferred form of movement. Take what is to be learned from the uncomfortable experience and use it to assist you in going forward positively. So kind of what I'm getting here is what we've been talking about a lot, just like generally, collectively, and in the world, is that recognizing that we are love and releasing those old things that are still residual in our experiences, in our body, in our DNA. We must first acknowledge them in order to get to the point where we can sit away from them and realize it does not create us as people, so that we can lead with our own light and our own love. All right. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, beautiful day.